Qualcomm, I think, is a very interesting stock. Samsung is very interesting. I can talk about both of those. Samsung, as you know, is a electronics manufacturer. They have a semiconductor business, they have a display panels business, they have a consumer electronics business, and they have a mobile phone business, as you know, and a huge pile of cash, $50 billion some dollars of net cash.
How are they as innovators?
They're good innovators from a hardware perspective. They're not in the software business. Their strengths, I would say, are on hardware design and manufacturing efficiency. So, you know, they were nowhere in the semiconductor business if you go back many years, and because of those skills that I just mentioned, they've become a dominant player in different parts of the semiconductor business. In handsets, they've developed an incredible handset business over the past 10 years on the back of ruthless cost focus, great distribution strength, great scale, vertical integration, and really innovative hardware design. But the software, of course, is Android software, so they're not in that business. But if you look at the valuation of Samsung, you're basically getting the handset business for free right now.
And Qualcomm?
Qualcomm is the dominant owner of intellectual property that's used in smartphones. And it's a highly profitable business, has about $30 billion of net cash, market cap's around $115, $120 billion, trades at around 12 times earnings excluding the cash. And the story with Qualcomm is that every time a 3G or a smartphone, 3G and increasingly 4G smartphone gets sold, Qualcomm gets a royalty on that sale. And given that smartphones are only 50-some% of global handsets sold today, that penetration will inevitably increase. Qualcomm is facing a long time horizon of growing smartphone volumes and therefore a growing royalty stream and growing profits. Now they're facing some issues in China. This would not be a surprise to any investor who's familiar with the lack of enforcement of Chinese intellectual property rights. And they're basically, Chinese handset manufacturers are not paying Qualcomm the royalties that they are owed. So Qualcomm is in the process of trying to get these companies to honor the intellectual property rights that Qualcomm has. That's why the stock has become cheap. We think that will ultimately prove to be a short-term issue, and the long-term merits of the business, the capital allocation, and the balance sheet will ultimately result in a much more highly valued security.